I just want to welcome you all this morning or this evening, depending on where you are. My name is Lucy and I'm the Head of Marketing and Communications here at UWC Southeast Asia. Thank you all for giving up your morning or evening to spend with us today. We have about an hour and a half together. The first hour or so, 45 minutes to an hour, we'll have a presentation from Cameron Hunter, our Head of Dover Campus, and Kathy Jones, our Head of East Campus. And then we'll have a live Q&A at the end, and Kevin Chua, our CHRO, will be joining us for that as well. So unfortunately, Cameron will have to drop off for the Q&A because he has a commitment that's come up this morning that he unfortunately can't get out of. However, we will have Kathy and Kevin with us for that section as well. Just a few little housekeeping things for you. If you'd like to have some captions, you can choose the captions down the bottom of the Zoom screen there, and you can actually choose the language that you would like the captions in today as well. So whilst we wait for a couple more people to join, what we'll do is we'll get started with a lovely video just to set the scene for you. And Jose, who's driving the slideshow for us today, will play that for us now. Thank you, Jose. So before I hand over to Cameron and Kathy to start the presentation, just a reminder that there is a Q&A chat and you can put your questions in the Q&A chat throughout the presentation and we will answer as many of those as possible when we get to the Q&A section. So we've got a lot of content to cover for you today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Cameron Hunter, the Head of Dover Campus, and Kathy Jones, the Head of East Campus. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cameron Hunter. I'm the head of Dover Campus, but I have also worked at the East Campus. So I would look forward to telling you about both of those wonderful schools. Over to you, Kathy.
Good morning, everybody. Kathy Jones, head of East Campus. I've been part of the college for 14 years and really looking forward to talking to you about my experience and the experience our staff have and our students have.
Come on, Kevin, say something. You're not introducing yourself, Kevin.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm the Chief HR Officer of United World College. I'm here relatively new, about 2.5 years. So happy to meet all of you in person, and I'll join you in a while during the Q&A. And back to you, Cameron.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, so our agenda today, we're just done our introductions, but we're going to go a little briefly about the UWC movement. You probably, if you're on this website, you've probably done some work finding out about us already. But a bit about working at UWCSEA, about what our programs are, and there'll be a Q&A at the end. Next slide, please, Jose. So yeah, very briefly, UWC movement, 18 UWC schools and colleges, of which we are the largest. United World Colleges are what we would call a Hannian education, set up by Kurt Hahn. His vision post World War II was to bring people from the world together, bring young people from the world together in a residential community. to play, to learn, to understand each other. And that vision runs through everything at UWC and UWC schools and colleges. The first college was Atlantic College in Wales. We were the second. Well, there's some debate about that, but we were set up in 1971, opened by the Singapore Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew. And in 1977, we became a member of the UWC organization, UWCSEA. Next slide, please. And this is our mission, okay? And this runs through everything that we do. It helps make our decisions. It helps guide us from lesson plans to strategic vision. It's not a statement that's written down and forgotten about. It is central to who we are and to how we enact change within our organization and within our schools. Next slide, please, Jose. Our mission draws us together as a community, both in Singapore and globally. Faith Abionen is our executive director and gives fantastic leadership to UWC International. He's on stage here in Singapore with some of our students, and he's a very inspiring speaker. He visited us last year. I love how he describes our mission and how it shows up with our students. Students leave UWC with a sense of possibility and agency, knowing that things can be done and that they can do something with those things. They have the power to make change. Next slide, Jose. So let's take some time to get a little look at the college in more detail. We are K-12 and we are not-for-profit international school across 2 campuses in Singapore, Dover and East, in the wonderful island city-state of Singapore. Each campus is CIS WASC accredited, and we offer the IB diploma in grade 11 and 12. In grades K to 10, we offer our bespoke curriculum, which Kathy will expand on later. And I've said before, our mission guides and governs our decision-making in our holistic values-based education system. It roots beyond academics, our values of inclusion, openness, and responsibility. It commits us to building a compassionate community that empowers students to embrace challenge, act with integrity, and contribute positively to the world. And like our mission, our values are not just written on the wall or put in the web. They guide what we do, and they guide our guiding statements are enacted throughout what we do in our school every day. Well, we try to anyway. Next slide, please, Jose. In 2020, sorry, I'm out of step. Next slide, Jose. In 2023, we launched our new college strategy, Shaping the Future. And you can see this here. It was developed collaboratively with everyone in the organization, and it rests upon 4 pillars. What we do is we deliver our world-class UWC education, and we do this through exceptional people and teams, immersive learning, creating a sense of belonging, and through fostering curiosity and exploration. We attempt to, from this, enact our UWC mission to make education a force to unite people, nations, and cultures for peace and a sustainable future. That's a big, very lofty ambition for a large international school, but we try and keep it at the heart of what we do. Next slide, please, Jose. This is our school, the school numbers at a glance. We are the largest UWC. We have 2 campuses in Singapore and just over 6,000 students in those 2 campuses. That means we have over 1,200 staff representing over about 118 nationalities, speaking well over 80 languages. It depends how you count what those languages are. This diversity makes our place, UWCSEA, Dover and East, very special places to work. And that's what we're here today, to give you a little bit of an introduction to our community and hope you'd be more interested to applying to come and work for us. Next slide, please, Jose. So here are our 2 schools. East Campus is unsurprisingly on the east of Singapore. Dover campus is southwest. Dover's the original campus. East Campus was set up in 2011. They're both roughly about the same size. Both schools have boarders. Talk a little bit more about them in a moment. And National Committee students, which we call scholars. Next slide, please, Jose. Here is Dover campus, or From the Air, set up in 1971, as I said, by the then Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew. And it was the first international school in Singapore to offer the IB diploma in 1977. Next slide, please, Jose. Here are some great pictures of the facilities in Dover. I'll pause on this slide for a moment so you can just see some of them. Our facilities are extensive. It is a large school, and it has top-notch facilities for both teaching and for activities. Next slide, please, Jose. There's a huge range of learning spaces, both indoor and outdoor. Next slide, please, Jose. Some of you may know, if you're based in Singapore, that Dover campus will be, where we are in Dover campus, will be returned to the Singapore government in 2032. And the Dover campus will be relocated to Tengah, where it will be part of Singapore's first new eco-town. We are absolutely honoured and delighted to be given this opportunity to be the flagship school in the new eco-town at Tengah. And that it chimes wonderfully with our sustainability mission. And we have made great plans already for this. We are close to the final stage of our design competition with some of the best architects in the world. Next slide, please, Jose. This is actually an artist's impression of Tengah Town. Doesn't look like that at the moment, but Singapore is pretty good at making these artist impressions come to life, that's for sure. So we're close to the end of the design competition of selecting who will be making our wonderful new campus. It's a very exciting opportunity, and we did it at East Campus in 2011, very successfully. And we will do it once again for Dover at Tengah. Next slide, Jose. And here it is, East Campus. It is our sister campus. This campus opened in 2011. We had an interim campus from 2009 to 11. It has almost 3,000 students. And again, it's equipped with state-of-the-art facilities. Wonderful place. Although I'm at Dover now, I was at East Campus from 2011, from the very beginning of our time at East Campus. Wonderful place. Next slide, please, Jose. Again, don't want to bore you with all the slides of our wonderful facilities, but they are kind of wonderful. So here are some slides of our wonderful East Campus. Next slide, please, Jose. What I love about this slide is the gardening area in the middle. When you go to East Campus is set in a urban area. It's a large campus set in an urban area, but it's fantastically green. Lovely garden space, great composting area, wonderful sustainability aspects all around it. Both schools have what we call Green Mark sustainability things, so they get the highest award for sustainability. It's in our mission, and we make sure that happens. Next slide, Jose. UWC people and program. It's a great environment to work in, but that's not going to be in great facilities, like I've said to you already. But that's not going to be attractive for you to apply and come and work here if the work itself is not great. But it is. So in the next few sections, we'll take a look at the reasons why we all come to work each day. And that's for our teaching and learning and the students that we work with. Next slide, please, Jose. Both schools are residential, and that's key to what we to being a UWC. You can't be a UWC if you don't have a residential community. And although the residential community themselves are large, there's 326 borders across Dover and East. With respects to the overall size of the school, it's quite small because most of the borders are in the high school. And our National Committee scholars are mainly grade 11 and 12 as well. So, but once you're in that high school area, there is more of a percentage of them there. But the National Committee students and our borders support our communities from K all the way up. We have buddy programs with the senior students, with middle school students, with junior students, with infant students. And we just had a wonderful UWC Day celebration yesterday at East Campus and last week at Dover, where there was wonderful vertical collaboration between students, teachers, and National Committee students. Next slide, please, Jose. So what we have here is a selection of our boarding house in action, strong pastoral and residential care, dedicated house parents who live full-time in the boarding house. But many people support boarding. For example, for a long time, I would be what we called a day parent, or not a day parent, an assistant. I would go there in the evening and help the people who live there and just hang out with the students. It's a wonderful environment to be with, wonderful. Lots of different boarding activities, boarding celebrations, very diverse community. Next slide, please, Jose. So each year, more than 100 students from around the world join us on a scholarship, selected not by us directly, but by UWC national committees operating in over 100 countries, maybe I think 120, 130 countries. And that's a very unique aspect of UWC. The individual countries have UWC national committees. They select their students for that year and they send them out to the UWCs in the world. It is a wonderful global network. Fantastic. They add immensely to our community. Next slide, please, Jose. Here you can see Deng, I think this is Deng, from the class of 2025, a scholar from South Sudan. I mean, every year when graduation is a wonderful experience, but it's always quite special for me when I see our National Committee students graduating. Deng is a great example of a National Committee student putting our mission into action. Before heading off, he started 2 groundbreaking community events. One was a refugee settlement in Uganda, and he drawed on that from his skills and experiences that he learned in our what we call Initiative for Peace program in grade 11 and 12, which is open to all of our students, not just National Committee students. And he organized that and a Peace Cultural Day with about 1,000 participants, I think. So in South Sudan, so wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So our scholars are an integral part of our community and they have a ripple effect through the whole of our ages and our parent community as well. Next slide, please, Jose. So graduation is wonderful. It's a wonderful event that our students become graduates, but they also become alumni quite quickly after that. And many of whom end up coming back to our school. We have a massive, wonderful alumni community. Pictured here on the bottom right is Zal Dastur, who I taught, because I've been here for some time. Class of 2001 on the bottom right here, who spoke at this year's graduation. Next slide, please, Jose. Our graduates maintain incredible connections with our community. As we speak, I'm making preparations to go and meet the class of 2015 from East Campus on Friday night. And previously we met we had the milestone reunion from the Dover community a few weeks back. It's testament to the fact that UWCSEA is not just about the bricks and the mortar, the great facilities that I showed you all the pictures of, but it's about people, it's about connections, it's about relationships, it's about student teachers and students and the magic which is, I think, UWCSEA. Next slide, Jose. And that's community, the relationships, the people. I think that makes us a little bit special, I have to say. And we have events which we try and foreground that, like, for example, our Kishore Mahbubani Speaker Series event, where we have political figures in Singapore and from around the world and come and speak to us, thought leaders on many aspects of politics or innovation coming to talk with our students, with our community. Our PA are also outstanding partners through events such as Careers Fair, family festivals, and they champion inclusionship and friendship across both campuses. Now, speaking of PA and parents, I have to now go to a parent event called Campus Connect, which I couldn't unfortunately reschedule. So I think I'll be passing over to Kathy now. Is that okay, Kathy?
Yeah, it is great. Thanks, Cameron, and enjoy Campus Connect.
I will love it. And I will be more than happy to answer any emails that anyone sends in, but I'm sure Kathy and Kevin will be able to do that. And thank you, everyone, for coming and joining. I will see you hopefully in your applications to joining this wonderful school.
Thanks, Cameron. And Jose, if you could move on to the next slide for me, that would be great. Thank you. Cameron's given a really broad picture of the community that we are, large community, diverse community. But I'm going to focus more on the learning program. And I understand that in the audience today, there are probably slightly more high school teachers than there are in the primary and middle school. So I might spend a little bit more time in that area, but of course I'm going to cover all aspects of our learning program. On the slide at the moment, you'll see what our educational goal is. So the goal is to educate individuals to embrace challenge and to take responsibility for shaping a better world. And with an educational goal such as this, which is clearly aligned to our mission, you can envisage that our educational program is very intentional, and the experience that we strive to give our students is very intentional so that they can actually graduate from us having had the opportunity to embrace that challenge and to learn the skills that are needed to take responsibility for shaping a better world. Next one, please, Jose. So Cameron's already talked about our mission, which, as he said, does drive our decision-making in all parts of the program. But we also have values, community values, actually. These are values not only for our students, but also for us as staff and for our parents, which fall out of that mission. They'll be values that you will see perhaps in quite a few schools, but I think what makes this in some ways unique is that they were developed through a working group that involved all of our community about 7 years ago now. And as I say, they're values that, although they might look different if you're a staff member, or they might look slightly different if you're in kindergarten or in the middle school or in high school, apply to all of us. And linked to that, next click please, is our UWC profile. These are skills. Sorry, if you could just go back a moment, Jose. Thank you. Our UWC profile referred to skills and qualities that we that we strive to develop in our students right through the way through from kindergarten to grade 12, because we believe that these are the skills and qualities that students need, not only to develop the competencies of being able to enact a mission while they are at school, but also the skills and the qualities that are needed for lifelong learning once they become alumni, because we're very conscious that to be able to enact the mission requires certain values and certain qualities and skills. Next slide, please. To be able to develop those skills and qualities and to develop those values, we have a very holistic learning program. What this means is that we have 5 elements of a learning program. You'll see there in the inner circle, the 5 elements refer to academics, activities, outdoor education, we call it PSE, and service. And in our learning program, the students are involved in all of those elements of the learning program, actually, and so are many of our teachers involved in many aspects, not just academics. And that learning program actually has 4 areas. So if you could just go back 1 second. 4 areas that have a written concept-based curriculum. So all academic areas have a concept-based curriculum. I'm sorry, I'm not able to, I've just noticed that my video is not working and I've been disabled there. I think maybe if we could start that again, that would be good. But in the meantime, oh, there you go. So we have 4 elements of the learning program that have a written curriculum from kindergarten all the way through to grade 12. So obviously all of the academic areas have a written curriculum. So does our outdoor aid program from kindergarten right the way through to the high school. Our PSE curriculum is a concept-based curriculum, and our service curriculum has a curriculum focused on sustainability and peace. One of the things that we are also doing is having a very strong focus on ensuring that all students can access our curriculum, but also that they are appropriately challenged, both developmentally and individually. So our courses from kindergarten to grade 10 are a bespoke curriculum that we have written. We originally did have the PYP, and we originally had IGCSE or GCSEs in the grade 9 and 10, but we now have our own curriculum K to 12, and in grade 11 and 12, we offer the IB diploma for all students. Next slide, please. Another really important part of our program that we're focusing not only on learning, but also on well-being. So we have learning principles that guide us as teachers on the kinds of ways that we want to create an environment that enables students to learn. But our learning principles, our well-being principles were developed, some of you may be very familiar with self-determination theory, based on the 3 strands of well-being that have been shown to demonstrate the ability for both our staff and our students to develop a sense of well-being. So this is ensuring that everybody has a sense of competency in what they're doing, that they feel connected to not only what they're doing, but the people that they work with, and also that people have a sense of autonomy, that they understand that they can act independently within a framework to be able to meet the goals that they have. So our well-being principles are something that we talk about a lot. Next slide, please. So putting all of these together, our mission, our learning and well-being principles, and our learning program, I just wanted to point out that our curriculum is constructed around a concept-based curriculum itself, but also that our pedagogies are very much based on concept-based teaching and learning. Many of you will be familiar with inquiry-based learning, and this is something that is an approach that is, again, K to 12. We really want to ensure that when our students leave us, that they have developed what we call our mission competencies, so that they can take the learning that they've had at school into real world contexts And so we try as much as possible to give them real world contexts at school so that they're applying their learning and that it's not purely knowledge and skill development, but actually applicable in the real world, dealing with complex problems. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk very briefly about each of the elements of the learning program to give you a sort of a sense of what they are. If you're familiar with concept-based curriculum, you will know that one of the things that is a significant differentiator of a concept-based curriculum is that we are trying to ensure that students develop not only knowledge and skills, which are obviously incredibly important, but also that they develop conceptual understandings. That means that they can transfer the knowledge and skills and understandings that they have into multiple different contexts, that it's not just isolated. And so our program in the academic area really focuses in many ways on interdisciplinary kind of a learning. And when I'm talking about interdisciplinary, I'm not meaning just necessarily interdisciplinary in terms of subject areas, but also that we are trying to integrate our outdoor ed program and our service learning and our PSE into a holistic learning program. Next slide, please, Jose. So just in terms of our primary school and what the learning program looks like there, our students learn in a very interdisciplinary way in the primary school. These are the disciplinary areas where students are developing knowledge and skills and conceptual understandings. But what that looks like in a classroom and for a teacher means that the unit planning is developed in an integrated way. Students learn in the classroom and outside of the classroom. We have a number of innovative things that we are exploring on both campuses. Some of those are a forest school. Some of those are ensuring that students have opportunities for learning communities where they actually have a sense of agency for themselves in how they what they want to focus on and which areas they want to develop. Next slide. Our middle school is the first time when students actually start to have more disciplinary or subject areas. So instead of having the single teacher who's the classroom teacher in primary school, in middle school, students will have more disciplinary experiences and individual teachers for their different subjects. Those of you who are middle school teachers will know that this is a very particular time developmentally for young people, often a time when social and emotional factors overtake some of the academic learning. And so we have a very, very specific focus around our PSE curriculum in the middle school to ensure that students have a very strong support around their social and emotional well-being as they navigate those really tricky years in middle school. Next slide, please. Because I know there are quite a lot of high school teachers on the call today, I think I might just spend a little bit more time looking at this for today now. Our high school program is obviously grades 9 to grade 12. You'll see the numbers there of students that we have across the college in the two areas. One of the things that we want to highlight about our high school program is that it's very diverse and very comprehensive. You'll see that in the high school, students have a number of subjects that they're able to choose from, including, which is very important for us, additional languages and levels that are offered, but additional languages in particular, as we look at focusing on the ability for students to feel connected to their own backgrounds and their own cultures, but also to help students develop an intercultural competence by learning other languages. I think perhaps something that's a little bit unique for us is that if you have a look, for example, in grade 9 and 10, we've got 1,129 students, but over 1,000 unique timetables. So we're not a school that gives a very prescribed timetable and students have to select out of a given timetable. Actually, we develop timetables from student choice. And as much as possible, we do try to ensure that students get the choices of subjects that they want. So our timetablers have a very big job, and it's a very complex one. Next slide, please. I want to talk a little bit about our IB results. I want to qualify, first of all, we don't measure our success in our learning program, which has 5 elements with a mission, only by our IB results. But I do want to give you a sense of the significance of our results, particularly as our students are going on to look at universities, and to give a sense of the community that we have. So Cameron mentioned that we've got about 605 students in our graduating class. It's a large graduating class across the college. In most schools, that graduating class is the average is about 55, but actually it's about 55 to 100 students. Our students do extraordinarily well in the IB. We believe that's because of the scaffolding that they've had all the way from kindergarten through into grade 11 and 12 with a curriculum that is very, not only mission aligned, but also very aligned to the concepts and skills and knowledge of the IB. Just looking at our IB results this last year, if you look at the average IB diploma score, I'll just focus on that. The worldwide average cohort for this last year was 30.5. For our entire graduating class for 2025, our average was 36.4. Sometimes we're asked by our parents, actually, why this is lower than other schools. And I want to point out that not only do we have a very large cohort of students, but we also ensure that all students have access to the IB. So we make sure that it's not a selective program. We will ensure that all students are given the opportunity to do the full IB. If you look at a smaller cohort, so something perhaps more like other schools that have smaller numbers of students, our top 50 students, their average was 44. And our top 100 students out of that 605, their average results would be 43.3. So we have a good spread and of some very strong academic results. Next slide, please. Just to give you a quick sense of where our students go for universities after they've left us, the US has been up till now still a very strong destination for our class, and followed shortly by the UK after that. But actually, our students go to a very wide range of universities across the world. You can see there that they apply to many 25 and 22 different countries, and they go to a wide range of colleges and universities. Thank you, Jose. Next slide. Cameron mentioned that part of our strategy is a focus on curiosity and exploration. So as a college, we are always looking to see how we can ensure that the education is relevant for our students and it is at the forefront of what's happening in the educational world. So our innovations in primary school, for example, I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is looking at forest schools. We notice that young children have sometimes, particularly I think since COVID, have sometimes a bit of an ecophobia. They find it quite difficult sometimes to be playing outside, getting muddy and getting dirty, but we also know from an educational perspective how incredibly important that is developmentally. So this is one of the areas that we have really focused on. Next slide, please. In our middle school, as students go through those years of change, big change for them, we have a particular focus on ensuring that we create a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose. So our program has a lot of integration with our service program. So in particular, I think of a course where students are enabled to understand sustainability and enterprise, and then take that learning and skills and work with some of our service partners to develop that sense of connection to the wider world, and so develop a sense of belonging, not only with themselves and within our community, but in the wider world too. Our next slide, please. I think I want to spend a little bit of time in particular talking about the high school, because we have had some particular focus on innovation here over the last couple of years. So I've mentioned that we have a holistic learning program that's K-12, but I want to show you a little bit about what that looks like in our new grade 9 and 10 program. So if you could just click again, please, Jose. Our new grade 9, 10 program has a very specific focus on not only the 5 elements, but also on groups of subjects that are aligned to the IB. So we've written our own concept-based curriculum. We've made sure that it is mission aligned in grade 9 and 10, and we've made sure that it is very much aligned to the IB, so that we've ensured that students have a real sense of agency and a real sense of immersive learning. And when we're talking about immersive learning, we're talking about not only being able to develop knowledge and skills and understandings, but actually being able to apply them in various ways in each of those learning areas. And you'll see, Jose, when Jose clicks on the next slide, that what we've tried to do is ensure that the grade 9 and 10 program is very much aligned to the IB program. And you'll see that when you look at those two visuals side by side with each other. Next, please. One of the, I think, most special innovations that we've been able to engage with over the last couple of years is our partnership with the IB in developing the systems transformation course, Leadership for Change. Some of you may be very aware that the UWC as a movement has had a long-standing relationship with the IB. And in the college, we have many teachers who have a relationship with the IB through examiners and so on. A couple of years ago, the IB started offering a number of pilots across the schools as they looked to see what sorts of innovation and change they might bring. And they offered to, first of all, UWC Atlantic College in Wales, and then the following year to us, the opportunity to pilot a new program which enabled students to, instead of doing 2 standard level subjects, to do 1 subject called systems transformation. This is an extremely exciting opportunity. So our students who are doing this particular version of the diploma have their 3 HLs, 1 SL, and then this particular course, systems transformation. It focuses on 5 things that you can see there, enabling students to develop change maker mindsets, to develop a strong understanding of not only design thinking, but also systems thinking. It enables them to develop very strong leadership skills, but also a strong understanding of leadership as a discipline in and of itself, and also to develop very strong project management skills. It's a fantastic course because it enables students to take their own passions and areas of interest and to develop projects that are then assessed by the IB. The students who do this course do not do any examinations in this particular course, but it is all project-based and scenario-based learning and assessment. I think I'll just add that after the first IB assessment that these students did, which was a whole day assessment, I've never heard students come out of an IB assessment and say, that was fantastic. So we're pretty excited about this course, and we're really hoping that in 2030, it becomes something that is rolled out to many IB schools who are interested in offering it. Next slide, please. I mentioned the activities program, and so did Cameron earlier. Our activities program is the only element of the learning program that does not have a written curriculum, but our UWC values and our UWC profile, the skills and qualities that I was talking about earlier, are very much embedded in the activities that our students do. Next slide, please, Jose. Sometimes I find it difficult to say how wide and deep our activities program is. We really do offer over 6,000 different activities for our students across the college. They the program covers the arts, it covers well-being activities, it covers sporting activities, it incorporates leadership activities. There's a huge range, and we have incredible participation rates across the year. We're divided up into seasons, so some students might choose activities for a whole year, and some might choose them on a seasonal basis. Thank you very much. Please, Jose. The next part of our a learning program that I want to talk about is outdoor education. I did mention that we have a written curriculum for outdoor education. It starts with our kindergarten students having one night at school. That's their first experience of staying away from home, where they spend a night on the campus and have the opportunity to explore the campus in the evenings. Then it progresses to in the next grade. They spend a couple of nights in the zoo, which lands up when students are in the high school, of being able to take some extraordinary challenges in the region, the Southeast Asia region, and our students in grade 11 are going on a project week. Thanks, Jose. The next slide, please. The students also have opportunities, though, to do a number of trips, either in the activities area or the service area, and also in the academic area of our curriculum. So you can see that just this year alone, there are about 236 different trips. And of course, we're always looking for teachers to join us on those trips. There are also a lot of local trips that students engage in to ensure that their learning goes outside of the classroom and is part of that real world context that I was talking about earlier. Thank you. Next slide. It's very obvious all over the world some of the stresses and pressures that our young people are under in a growingly complex world. And our personal and social education curriculum is written to support students to navigate that complexity as they go through different developmental stages. Most of our teachers are what we call mentors. We meet in the mornings in morning meetings, both in primary, middle, in primary school, in high school, and in middle school. It's a part of the morning where we connect with each other, make sure that the students in our mentor groups are feeling organized for the day, feeling well. but we also have a written curriculum that we deliver to them. So all of our teachers who are full-time teachers will also be mentors and be engaged with our personal and social education as well. Next slide, please. I think one of our very strong pillars at the college is our service pillar and our service element. If we are going to become an adult who is able to enact the mission, then learning to engage with partners, developing a sense of empathy, developing a sense of commitment to change means that our service program is organized and created around both a local service and a college service here in Singapore, but also offers opportunities for students to have what we call global service or our global concerns, as we have very strong and long-term partnerships with different NGOs in the Southeast Asia region. Next slide. So just to give you a sense of the breadth and depth of our service program, you can see that we've got hundreds of different college service groups. They might be things such as rainforest restoration, composting, sustainability, different environmental initiatives on the campus. We've got local services that engage with groups in Singapore, often to do with younger children, also to do with supporting people in elderly care homes in Singapore, but also working with people with different abilities. And then our global concerns, our GCs, we're connected to NGOs in India, in Ladakh, I'm thinking of one, lots in Cambodia, Indonesia, and actually even one in Africa. Again, our students are all committed and are involved and required to be involved in service. And our teachers are also signed up to be engaged with our service program. Next slide. One of the things I just wanted to let you know about, I've mentioned this already, is that we're very committed to our students retaining their home language. We know how important that is for a sense of identity. We offer a number of home language programs, and these are taken outside of the curriculum area, but are offered as an after-school activity. So there are a number of home languages that we have in this particular program and different levels. We have a number of students who speak many different languages, and in the high school, we have a strong school-supported self-taught program in the IB too. Next slide. One of the things I think that makes us a little unique is a very strong careers program that we offer. Cameron mentioned that our Parents Association help us develop a careers fair every single year. It alternates between the two campuses, but we also offer incredible internships, mentoring programs by our parents and alumni, and company visits. Again, it's trying to ensure that our students understand that the learning that they're doing at school is relevant in the outside world. And it's certainly been a fantastic opportunity to connect with our alumni who are also supportive of this program. Next slide. I've raced through, in many ways, the most relevant parts of the learning program. But one of the things I do want to say is that working at UWC is challenging and it's incredibly rewarding. Our staff stay for a long time. They are very committed to the mission. If you are somebody who is inspired by a mission like this, then I think that you will find this some of the most rewarding teaching you've ever done. Next slide, please, Jose. So where do our staff come from? you'll see that we have, this is looking at all of our staff, not our teaching staff only. It's a very large staff, 1,200 staff. They come from a wide variety of countries around the world, a lot of different nationalities. And we have over 600 teachers across the college. Next slide. Just a little bit of information on the differences between the two campuses. So obviously Dover has a few more students. They also have a few more teaching staff. And you can see the different nationalities that are represented across the college. And you can also see the number of part-time teachers and the number of full-time teachers there. Thank you. I think one of the things to emphasize is that we are a great community of colleagues. It's very difficult to explain how wonderful it is to work with people who challenge you, who support you, who have the same values, and who are focused on the same mission. We have a lot of fun together. We work hard together. Next slide, please. And I think one of the things I also want to emphasize is that we are a learning community. I think one of the reasons I personally have stayed at the college for such a long time is because I feel like every single day I'm learning. I'm learning from colleagues, I'm learning with colleagues. And I think that all of our staff would say that too. We have a very good professional learning program, which is always aligned to the strategy that we have. And so our teachers find that, in fact, we've just had a professional learning day on this campus, East Campus, this last week. We've had expertise come from outside of the campus, but we also find that we're learning from each other all of the time. So there's a lot of sharing of our practice. Next slide. So if you're thinking about joining us, and I certainly hope that you are, how do you know whether you will thrive at this college? I think if you can say that you are aligned to our mission, that you want to work in a very diverse community as we've described, if you feel that you can be committed to working in all of the different elements of our learning program, and being in a school that definitely has a future focus and is always curious and exploring the next areas that we need to engage in. If you're somebody who has some experience and are a reflective practitioner, that you're willing to be engaged and that you're committed to safeguarding, then UWCSEA is definitely a place for you and a place to consider as your next school. Next slide. I've got just a couple of things I just want to say about Singapore. Some of you obviously are from Singapore and in Singapore, but many of you are not. Singapore is a very safe, very forward-thinking itself city to live in. It offers an awful lot for all members of your family in terms of what is available as a very international and connected city. Next slide, please. I think one of the things I also want to say about living in this city is that the government is focused very much on sustainability, as is the college. Singapore is very focused on its diverse community and bringing people together, as is the college. So we have very strong connection to Singapore and the direction it's taking. And I think as a place to live and to work, many of us find it a wonderful place to be. The next slide, please. So just before Jose shows you the next video, I just want to say thank you very much for being here today, and I hope that you found it informative. I have gone through a lot of things quite quickly. There's lots more here, but we're going to leave you with a couple of voices of our teaching staff. So thank you, Jose. Video, please.
So it's very much about more than just what are you doing in the classroom and these are the classes that you're teaching. It's who are you as a teacher, what are your interests, and what can you bring to what we already do.
At UWCSEA, we're part of a community that's seeking to make our mission, to unite peoples, nations and cultures for peace and a sustainable future, come alive every day for our students, our parents, our teachers. We've got a large staff of committed, passionate educators who want to make sure that our students leave with far more than just academic results, but leave with the skills and qualities that will allow them to make a difference, both immediately after they leave school and for longer term across their lifetimes.
One of the greatest things about being a teacher here is that it's a really kind of holistic experience. You are not just teaching in the classroom, you are being part of the community of learners that really reaches very far and wide. Service, community engagement, reaching out to experts in different fields that come in and take part in the learning, and the whole community of alumni that's always so active and involved really makes this a really full and intense experience, but it allows you not just to be a part of helping students learn, but also you feel that you are a learner in that community.
The most incredible, and I think boldest part of UWCSEA is the mission. And there are, every school has a mission statement, but often it's just a piece of paper that's wallpapered on the wall and forgotten about. But it's not here. Here, it is truly lived and breathed. It is the reason that teachers come here. It's the reason that students and parents come here. The entire community is leaning into this mission and really believing in this mission. They believe in the idea of peace building. So we have education that's built around peace building education. So really, I think the mission is the heart of the school.
There aren't many places where you get to bring your energy and creativity and passion and be surrounded by people who feel the same about something that's really meaningful and that you can look back on with pride and that makes a difference to young people across the course of their lifetimes. But this is that place. In exit interviews with colleagues who are leaving, they frequently say that they've learned more in their time with us than they have over the rest of their careers. That's a pretty special compliment. That doesn't come easy. That takes effort, it requires determination, and it requires a certain resilience and strength of character. But I can tell you it's a fabulous place to be.
So we have some things that allow us to contribute, I think, to education, like on a world stage in ways that other schools might not always be able to. For example, we're part of a larger foundation and movement, so we have other schools around the world. We're also very large. We have about 6,000 students across 2 campuses, and we're also able to develop our own bespoke curriculum, which allows us to be responsive to current developments in research and education and to put great practice in place right away.
If you ask people what they say about us, what's best about their work, they'll always say, in a school, they'll always say the students, they should do. And that's true. But students are great the world over. But what you won't hear people always say is the colleagues and the professionals around them. And I think that's a pretty special aspect of what we've got here. Every day, I am honestly humbled by what I see going on around me, by people who know the mission, who know their own values, and who are prepared to commit to that and to lead students through whatever activity it is. And I think that's the really significant and special thing that we have here, is a community of educators who believe passionately in what they're doing. If what you've heard so far sounds like it might suit you, we'd love to hear from you. We're always looking for passionate educators to come and join us. Please do think about UWCSEA.
Thank you, Jose, and thank you to Nick Alchin for that lovely closing remark, our head of college here. Well, if you're still with us, and I see that many of you still are, so thank you for hanging on, because now is the time that we're going to do a Q&A. So I'll just invite Kathy and Kevin Chua, our CHRO, to come back online. Thank you very much. And Kathy, we'll give you another few minutes to catch your breath and have a glass of water. So we've got some terrific questions here. Thank you very much, everybody. And we've got roughly 25 minutes to get through them. So we'll try and get through as many as possible in the next 25 minutes. I'm going to start, Kevin, with a very easy one for you. And that is, do we have any age limits on our candidates?
So the broad answer is that there is no age limit for our candidates. In fact, just last August that just passed, we have a candidate who is close to 50 years old joining us. Now, while I say that the school does not have age limit, I just need to caveat this to say that if you are not already in Singapore, there are immigration visa requirements, and if the candidate is a little bit older, it's become more and more stringent. So while the school does not have age limit, we need to bear in mind the broad visa requirement. I would also say that there is a maximum entry point in terms of salary. So you may come with 25 years of working experience. If you're prepared to come in at our maximum entry point for salary, we welcome you. So no age limit.
Terrific. Thank you, Kevin. While I have you, I might ask another one.
Sure.
We have a few questions here around part-time opportunities. Are there any sort of opportunities to contribute part-time? What openings do we have in this area?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll talk about part-time teacher first, because I think most of the participants are teaching. So we advertise our part-time teaching positions as well on our career site. So please take a look at those opportunities that may come up. If you are not already in Singapore, but plan to relocate with your family, maybe your partner is coming to Singapore, we welcome that as well. However, if you are on your own outside of Singapore trying to apply for a part-time role, again, we welcome you, but the immigration, there are some immigration constraints because, there is a salary threshold. And if you join us as a part-time, of course, the salary is prorated and there might be immigration constraints. But if you are already here in Singapore, or if you are joining your partner relocating to Singapore, we welcome that. It's advertised on our careers page.
Great, thank you. Well, you've actually just uncovered another question that came through around applying from within Singapore or from overseas. Is the immigration, the Singaporean immigration requirements aside, from a UWC perspective, is there a difference between applying from overseas or locally within Singapore, or is the application process the same?
The application process is the same. I would say the application process is the same. The contract type may be slightly different depending on where you are at the point of application, or if you are already in another international school in Singapore, the type of contract that you are currently on, we will take note of that. So, but the application process is the same.
Terrific. Thank you, Kevin. Kathy, have you had enough of a breather? Can I throw a question your way?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you for your fantastic presentation. We have a few questions actually around sort of PSE and psychology. So you've spoken about the PSE curriculum and how that's very much focused on well-being and supporting interpersonal relationships. Can you just tell us a little bit about the counselling function at the schools, so student support services in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I want to say that the way we approach our student well-being is to look at two aspects of this. One is the sort of the proactive support for student well-being, which comes through our PSE curriculum. And then the other one is the, I suppose in some ways, responsive or reactive approaches. So we have a written curriculum which is focused very specifically on the kinds of needs and changes that students are having developmentally. And that's our sort of proactive approach to supporting well-being. We also have a team of counsellors that are focused either in the primary school, middle school, or in the high school. And also in the boarding house, actually. We also have a counsellor in the boarding house. So students, if you're a boarder, you can access people either in the boarding house or in the school. We also have a person who is responsible for safeguarding across the whole college. And all of our principals and our vice principals are designated safeguarding leads. They have been trained very specifically to support students if there are safeguarding concerns. We also have leads in our DIJ space. So for students where there are issues around perhaps bias incidents in the college, then we have people who are very specifically available to students and staff actually to access. So I think we have a very strong support network within the college to support student well-being and staff well-being. But also because we're in Singapore, we have a very, very extensive network of external counselors that we work with as well. So as I said, when we talk about students and their success at the college, we talk about student success in learning, but we also talk about student success in well-being.
Thank you, Kathy. And you've actually sort of also touched on another question regarding safeguarding. So you've spoken about the safeguarding lead across the college, and we have the safeguarding champions throughout the school. Is there anything else that you want to sort of add just around, the policies and the procedures around safeguarding?
Yeah, so we have very strong policies and processes around, first of all, safeguarding in terms of recruitment and staff who come to the college. But we also have strong focus on safeguarding and what that looks like in our curriculum. So we strong focus on helping students understand not only what safeguarding means and looks like, but who they can go to. A number of our staff actually have signed up for courses in suicidal prevention, so that a number of our parents as staff are trained to support students. But we also support our families around safeguarding to help them understand what safeguarding is and looks like. We also have reporting systems that are very robust within the college. So I think we take safeguarding extremely seriously. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy. That's great. Kevin, a question for you now. We'll give Kathy another breather. So we've had a question from a senior exec at Amazon who has 15 years of experience at the intersection of education and tech, which I know we're all sort of at that intersection in various different ways at the moment. So this guest doesn't have teaching certification, but is keen to know what kind of roles might be open for industry practitioners to come and either share their expertise or get involved in the learning of our, the teaching and learning with our students.
Well, thank you. Yeah, to the person from Amazon, that's great. You're interested to work in our school. Let me answer it very broadly because every case is a little bit unique. But very broadly, the private education sector or international school sector in Singapore is, as you can imagine, is regulated. And we do need to comply with regulations to say that our educators do need to have teaching certification. So that is a very high level, broad level, that is a compliance requirement. So what it means is that only in very rare situation can we appoint teachers who do not have teaching qualification. That is a very rare situation. For people without teaching qualification, there are many admin and support roles available. These are also on our website. So looking broadly at this, possibly in our IT department, who are looking at learning systems. It sounds quite a match there. For now, I don't know whether we have a position in there. We are a very large international school, so I know that we have a group of people looking at learning systems for our students. There is also Lucy, if you don't mind, there's another question also about a former parent
Yes.
who's going to going to get a PGCE. So talking about career pivots, yeah. So I think that's a great first start to get the teaching qualification. I would say that among our teachers, there are cases where people have a first career somewhere else. They did teaching qualification and then they joined us. So one very notable example is that we actually had a sustainability expert who worked for one of the big four consulting firms, and then joined us, after getting teaching qualification as a teacher. So broadly speaking, to the person who I've lost the question now, who is going to receive the PGCE from the University of Bath, yes, do that. You may want to get some, just make sure that you get teaching experience. I think the more teaching experience you have, the chances of you joining us or being selected is higher. If you have no experience, then you are really competing. But again, depending on what subjects can you teach, if you teach a subject that there are very, high demand but low supply, your chances become higher. But if you are teaching a subject that actually out there in the market, there are a lot of teachers, then, do get some teaching experience first, and accumulate that, then your chances will be higher.
Thank you, Kevin. Does the college support with immigration and visas for
Most
overseas
definitely.
applications?
Yeah, most definitely. We'll support with all the visa requirements. And if you are a married family, we'll support with the family as well.
Great, thank you. And if you are a family with children, there is the opportunity then for the children to attend UWC. However, they will still go through the normal admissions process. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Kathy, question for you on the academic side. Does primary and middle school use any other international benchmarking assessments?
Yes, thanks for that question. Yes, we do. We do ISA assessments from grade 3, actually all the way up to grade 10. That's probably the widest international standardized testing that we do. It's an interesting question because I think for the last few years across the college, we've been using other different sorts of tools to look at literacy and numeracy and external tools other than our own assessment. And we have a very big focus currently to look at standardizing those and determining which tools that we're going to use going forward. So if you have experience in those sorts of things, we're always going to be open to hearing about what's worked for you in your environment. So it's an area of growth for us in terms of which benchmarking tools we want to use to ensure that we are still delivering the concept-based curriculum, but also making sure that our literacy and numeracy is at least developmentally appropriate. I think if you look at our ISA data, we are generally above like schools in the Southeast Asia region for both numeracy and literacy.
Terrific, thank you. I have quite a few questions around specialist teachers, so I'm going to try and combine them into one, and I'll probably throw to Kathy first, but Kevin, please, if you'd like to add to the conversation, that would be terrific. So one of the questions is around PSE and whether PSE is a specialist teacher role, somebody with a psychology degree as an example. But what other sort of specialized teaching areas do we recruit for? So home languages is one that I can think of off the top of my head, but are there any other sort of areas where specialist teachers are very much sought after?
Okay, thank you. So the first one around PSE, all of our teachers are teachers of PSE. So we don't have specialist teachers teaching it, but we do have a number of people with specialty, a specialist knowledge, who support development of our curriculum. And therefore also will help in professional learning sessions within particular school sections to support teachers to develop that area of teaching. I'm really conscious that in many schools, something like PSE is not something that's always taught by a teacher who's not had training in that area, but we do give a lot of professional learning and a lot of support for that. I'll talk, for example, in middle school and high school, we have heads of grade who actually lead the pedagogy and the unit planning and so on for those areas. And teachers will meet with those heads of grade and as a team at a particular grade level so that they develop the confidence to deliver that curriculum. In terms of other specialist teachers, in primary school in particular, obviously we have, yes, languages as specialist teachers, but also the teachers in the arts are specialist teachers. We have learning support teachers. We have coaches in areas such as mathematics, for example, or digital and information literacy, and physical education teachers as well. So there are a number of specialist teachers that we look at. The classroom teachers in primary school are looking more at the sort of units of inquiry that come from what I would call as perhaps the more sort of traditional areas of humanities, science, maths. But then we have a number of specialist teachers as well who support that program.
Terrific. And just to answer some of the other questions, we're not going to get through all these questions, folks. I apologize. We've got some terrific ones there. But we also do have, yes, a music program with specialist teachers in the music program. And those roles are also available on our website. And I'm just looking here if there's anything else that I can sort of add to there. Okay, terrific. Let's go back to some of the other earlier questions that came through. I think this is a really great one, Kathy, and I'm going to ask you this one. It's around collaboration between the two campuses. So the question is, I'm curious to know how much the two campuses collaborate and connect, both students and staff. And then somebody else has asked around collaboration between subject teachers and EAL. A specialist, as an example, you know, in maybe some of those more STEM subjects around maths and science, like how do we sort of support those students? So collaborating cross campus, but also collaborating within the ecosystem to support our students. You mentioned, you know, access and challenge earlier on in the presentation. So how that partnership works as well.
I think I'm going to start with the second one, actually, which was around the collaboration around with teachers who are EAL specialists. Actually, one of the things that we have been spending some time looking at is our EAL provision and our EAL approach. We have a shifting demographic in Singapore and in the college where we have a growing number of EAL learners coming into the school. And so we are really interested in teachers who have worked in schools where there have been a large number of EAL students and who are experts. So I would say that our EAL teachers at the moment deliver support and support teachers through planning meetings, particularly, and then also obviously working with individual students. But we've a number of recommendations that have been given to us by our teachers and our directors of teaching and learning in the ways that we can develop our EAL strength. And so what we are looking towards is having a much closer integration and closer collaboration with our EAL staff as we develop this language program. So if you are a specialist in this area, I think you've got a lot to contribute.
Terrific.
In terms of the cross-campus, Singapore is quite small and we are not that far away from each other, but we have very busy individual activities and lives on the two campuses. And so I think our greatest collaboration comes from department level collaboration because we have the same curriculum. So we've got the same curriculum across the two campuses, but how that plays out on the two campuses and in the contexts depends on the departments on the two campuses. And so I think some of the greatest professional learning that teachers have is with their colleagues on the other campus. And those opportunities come from either because the two departments have decided they really want to work together, or also sometimes we have professional learning days where we come together as a college or as different departments, different school sections. The other thing I would say is that for our students, actually, this is the systems transformation students, because they have 2 SLs, it's a big chunk of time together, and it's a new course which is very focused on project work and collaboration. They have quite a bit of time actually together, but traveling between the 2 is quite difficult during the school day. So during the school day, there's not really that much opportunity for the 2 campuses, the students, to get together. But they do obviously some outdoor ed trips in grade 9, for example. The kids go away together and they're mixed Dover and East students. Some of our service trips are also mixed. And certainly things like, so I was talking about some of the visits to companies and internships. Students have opportunities to mix there. Most importantly, our borders definitely have more opportunities to get together, particularly our national committee scholars. They're able to see students from other countries, from different parts of the world. So we do, where we can, we definitely find ways to collaborate together.
Thank you, Kathy. And just on that internship program, I'm just going to answer a question very quickly that's come through. So to Gal, yes, the careers program does have a dedicated team of UWC staff driving that. So our head of alumni actually drives that, and she does a phenomenal job and works very closely with our educators on the program. And you can find out more about that on our website. We have time for one more question, because I'd like to just show the final slide before everybody leaves for the day or the evening. And I think it's a great question. And Kathy, I'm going to direct it to you. It's just around how, it's from a lady who's working in Vietnam, and she's curious to know about how we ensure students from very different cultures and socioeconomic backgrounds learn from one another. I think that's a beautiful question to finish on.
It's a fantastic question. I'm going to give you an example. In primary school last week, we have a very strong relationship with an organization called Epic Arts in Cambodia. They support young people in Cambodia with disabilities, particularly those who don't have hearing, but also who may have lost mobility because of the landmines and so on. This relationship means that we not only go and visit them, but they come and visit us. So, for example, last week we had people from Epic Arts who trained their young people in dance. They came and worked with our community for a whole week. So they were working with our grade 2s and grade 3s, and were able to put together a performance together, but also invited the parents to come and work with the students. So that's just a really small example of how we ensure that students are not only exposed in some ways to other cultures, but actually work with people from other cultures and other abilities and disabilities, so that students start to understand difference, because we celebrate diversity, but also learn how to become much more inclusive. I could give you so many examples, but that's a very, very recent one that's in my mind right now.
Thank you, Kathy. I think I may have 10 seconds to wrap it up. So Jose, please put the screen on. If this cuts out, folks, I'll follow up with an email. I'm not sure what happens when that timer gets to 0. So just put the final slide on. And I just wanted to, hopefully we've still got everybody online, do we? Great, excellent. I was worried that that might be like the countdown and then the computer just implodes. So look, I just want to say thank you very much to everybody for joining us today, whether it's your morning or your evening or your afternoon. We're delighted and we feel honoured that you have chosen to spend this time with us. I'd like to thank Kathy, Cameron, who unfortunately had to leave early, and Kevin for their time and their presentation and answering all these terrific questions. We didn't get through all the questions today, folks. So on your screen now, you should see a feedback code, a QR code. You can screenshot that or we will also follow up with an email with a link. We would really be delighted if we could get some feedback from you today, just about how the session went, what you found helpful, what you think might be missing. That definitely helps us for planning these sessions in the future. And it also gives you an opportunity there to paste any questions or submit any questions that might be still burning and you would like to get an answer to, and we can collate those and ensure that somebody comes back to you on those. You can also see a couple of links there. Find us on LinkedIn, and all our jobs and our openings are posted on our careers page on our website. And Rebecca's been in the background there answering some questions as well in real time. So thank you, Rebecca. Once again, thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure to host you. If you'd like to join us again on Saturday, you're very welcome to do so. But we hope to see as many of you as possible on our campuses. Have a lovely afternoon, evening, morning, and we'll be in touch. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone.